Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Apex Greatness. I am your host, Russell Broderick. This way. Other way.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to talk about this beforehand. I'm like,
this way is Dario Albuquerque. He's like, I don't like looking stupid. I don't like people thinking I don't point in the right direction. This is bullshit. Oh, man. So, today, we have a different topic than we've been covering in the last couple of weeks. We haven't talked about football in a while, actually. It's been like, I don't know, almost a month. Updates. Updates. I am a fantasy champion. I've won the fantasy championship. I destroyed everyone in my league. I had the most points by 120 points. And the belt is coming to me. So soon on this show, behind me, you're going to see a championship belt. I'm thinking like right underneath, like right there would be perfect. Right for the
you should just have it like right above you.
Let people know. There's not enough room. My ceilings are.
I'm a champion.
I'll just have a.
You just have it hanging from your ceiling right there.
I'll just wear a crown like Devonta Adams did.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Oh yeah, quick update with me. I lost in the first round. I will get my redemption soon at some point.
Yeah, dude. Fucking. We will. My goal for next year is number 1, to do a fantasy show every week, and number 2, to have fantasy championships for you and me next year. That's a goal.
Lit. I'm always down for stuff like that.
I'm
winning
always
championship
down to
titles and things.
Succeed and achieve victory is always something that is happening in my life. But but we are talking NFL today, obviously, by the sweet plays you're seeing here in the background. There's some playoffs. There's a super wildcard showdown happening this weekend, right? We got a first time ever 6 games, right?
Yeah, 6 games.
Yeah, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. Yeah. Only the number 1 seed in each conference has a bye. So, with that said, you've made a bracket, and I've made a bracket. I want to look at your bracket really quick. So you have.
Yeah, this is my first time out seeing your bracket.
Because I have intentionally not looked at your bracket until this moment.
So for the audience, the bracket on the right of your screen is mine. The one where obviously the Kansas City Chiefs are the champions. It looks like my weird friend Russell Broderick's bracket is on the left, where he, for whatever reason, doesn't have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And
I thought about it, and we'll get into it, but we could talk about the number 1 seeds now, because I feel like we'll be doing not so much talking about them this week, probably talk about them more next week. But you actually brought this up to me via text, telling me that you were nervous about the Chiefs going into the playoffs, which I had to talk you into all the things on the phone about Andy Reid conquering his playoff demons last season, Patrick Mahomes being the generational quarterback for this era, and them having a way better defense than they had last year. And I thought about it. I thought about it.
Let's start from the first round, because I think it's a better build up. Like, we can go from each side of the bracket and get to how we get to each AFC or NFC championship. I think that would be a better structure. So for Tennessee and Baltimore.
Okay. We both have Baltimore winning.
We both have Baltimore. In my mind, the reason I have Baltimore winning is mainly due to their defense, to the defensive struggles of Tennessee, and and how good Baltimore's defense is in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I think overall it's going to be a pretty higher scoring game. But I think because Baltimore's defense is better, they're going to overall prevail. And we literally just saw Tennessee give up 38 points to Houston. And to me, that was just insane that even happened, because Houston was a bottom feeding team. Sure, Deshaun Watson was wilding out, but I just can't imagine that Baltimore won't be able to put at least 30 points on them.
So we saw this game last year, right?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, 195 yards. Actually, let's pull the stats up.
And this is all considering that Lamar Jackson's finally going to beat his little playoff demons and play a little better than he has.
I'm not totally sure that it even matters, if I'm being honest. And I think that their defense has been struck by COVID for pretty much the last month of the season. They just got Marcus Peters back last week, and the defense looked back to normal, even though they were playing the Giants. I mean, not exactly an elite offense. But this is last year's AFC Championship game. Derrick Henry, 30 carries, 195 yards, no touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill, I'm pretty sure he got one of those read options that he likes to get at the goal line. I remember the Cleve Fairman bomb. Let's get the highlights up. Lamar Jackson was a one-man wrecking crew, 150 yards rushing, 365 yards passing, but 2 turnovers, sacked 4 times, couldn't get anything else, couldn't get any help from him on the ground. Marquise Brown had an okay day, or a good day.
I don't think he was a one-man wrecking crew. I think if you look at those stats of when they happened, I'm pretty sure it was when they were down by a ton.
I understand what you're saying, but
to me, that's garbage yards. All of that stuff is garbage shit. Like you can't if you're not doing.
I guess until the score tips, then the garbage yards turn into that's how they came back.
Yeah, but look at when you're down by like 30 most of the game, like it doesn't matter. Like
yeah, but he had. What do you want? This is just a weird way of putting it. What do you want him to do? Sit there and do nothing? He has to put up yards. Fucking
no, yeah, but I'm saying I wouldn't call that. That's when you call if he had a monster game. It's a monster game
it wasn't the best game of his career, but he had a monster game. He had 350 yards passing and 150 yard rushing.
But in terms of it was an overall. There was a reason people give him shit for this performance.
Yeah, because like I said, he had turnovers. I'm agreeing with you. He had turnovers and the offense around him.
And most of his yards came when the game was out of reach already.
Right, but this is different.
We'll see as this little highlight thing keeps on going.
But this is kind of my point. I don't think this Titans defense is nearly the same defense that they had last year. Would you agree?
I agree, 100%.
So this is what their offense was able to produce to an extent, but once Derrick Henry is able to eat that clock, 30 attempts, he's just chewing the clock every single time, right?
Yeah.
You can't make a mistake on the other. Like if you're the Ravens, you cannot turn the ball over against a team that's doing that, and there is no reason to believe that that's not the formula now, right? What do you think? Do you think they'll try and do it differently this year?
Yeah, I think. The Titans?
Yeah,
or Baltimore. So I think. So the Titans last year, they had a really great defense and they had a really great running back.
Yes.
So it kind of worked perfectly together. Now they've let their quarterback cook, and the quarterback is now. Yeah, I'm not saying he's great, but he's definitely good enough.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a weird thing to say. Now they're letting the quarterback cook when the running back is the 8th rusher to ever run for 2,000 yards.
Yeah, but look at the quarterback. The quarterback has you with over 30 passing touchdowns, like 6 interceptions.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable this year.
He had 14 attempts that game. I promise you, he's not gonna have 14 attempts this game.
You don't think so? It's interesting.
No way. There's no way.
My question.
He threw for almost 4,000 yards.
No, I wasn't saying he had a bad year. It's just that offense was wildly efficient. And that is why they've been able to still win games despite the fact that their defense has really been like horrific. Like very bad, especially in comparison to last year. So I think you're definitely going to need Tannehill to throw more, right? Let's see when we go to week 11. Fun.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's not the strategy overall. It's gonna definitely be mainly Derrick Henry is gonna be the main option in the strategy.
Yeah,
but I see Tannehill throwing the ball 30 to 40 times.
He threw it 31 times this year for 259 and 2 touchdowns. Had his little bit of rushing. Derrick Henry still almost got 30 carries. Ridiculous. And
they divided up more
game.
50-50 than how they were doing it last year in the playoffs. Like it's a little bit more. It's definitely a little bit more even balance versus the year before. Yeah. And Ryan Tannehill deserves it too. He's played really good. Both of those receivers are playing out of their mind pretty much. Corey Davis and AJ Brown have been super good and efficient, but I think their offense is never the issue. Is not the issue at all in this game. I think the defense. The reason I have Ravens winning the game is mainly because of the defense and not the offense. I think the offenses in both teams are both pretty good and probably pretty close to even.
Do you think we see more of an appearance from this man, Des Bryant? Because do you think I think they're gonna open the playbook a little bit for Lamar. I think the Titans are going to commit everyone to stopping the run, and they're going to have to open up the playbook. They're going to have to, because 2 things are going to definitely happen for Tennessee. I think they're going to try and get Derrick Henry 30 carries to slow the clock down and keep their defense off the field, and more importantly, Lamar Jackson off the field. And I think that they're going to...
How many passing attempts you expect from Lamar Jackson?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I said about 30, 40 for Ryan Tannehill. You think it's the same, or you think it's more for Lamar?
I think, you know what? I think it's about 30, which is a lot for Lamar. Lamar doesn't throw it that much. Like, 30 is a good amount for Lamar Jackson. Like,
if it's 30, I think that's okay. I think anything from 40 and above, that's bad for the Ravens.
Yeah, like he only threw it 29 times.
It's not because I think,
He only threw it 29 times in this game in Week 11, where they put up 24 points in the loss.
Yeah, and it's not because I think the Ravens that like Lamar can't do it. Yeah. I don't believe in a team changing up their strategy once you get to the playoffs. You got to do what got you. You have to get to where you have to use what got you there. Yeah, and they're a very efficient running team.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I just think I think they might want to get a hot start, just like moving down the field quickly to get a lead up on them, so that they can play defense and have their defensive ends try to take care of Henry, because they didn't have both of their starting defensive ends. I think Calais Campbell definitely wasn't playing, and he'll be back. And
who do you trust more if they're down in the game, Lamar or Tannehill?
Lamar, personally.
Really? Yeah, that's funny, because I actually trust Tannehill much more.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. But I just think the Ravens defense will be in a much better position this year and this upcoming week, being healthy, or as healthy as they're going to be. I think everybody else is on like standard IR.
And this is
to take on
this is at Tennessee. So
yes,
they won. Yeah, I think if Tennessee goes up quick in this game, if they go up a score, or two. If they go up 2 scores in this game, I don't think it's good for the Ravens. I think it has to be the Ravens score immediately and put pressure on Tennessee. If it doesn't go in that way, like I don't see it ending well for Baltimore. But
I just think they can put up. I think they could, like you said to start. I think they could easily put up 30 on this defense. I mean, in a game where they had to stop Deshaun Watson, they could not stop him. Like their home playoff game was reliant upon stopping Deshaun Watson, who had basically nothing to play for but J.J. Watt's pride.
But for all, and this is for all those guys listening and yelling at the screens right now. I know what they want to say, and I'm going to say it for you. Lamar Jackson is not Deshaun Watson when it comes to throwing the football.
I know.
And we know Tennessee's weakness in their defense is their secondary, mainly.
He can make it happen. I believe there are plays in the playbook that I'm hoping that they were saving. Honestly.
I don't know if there's plays in. I think.
Oh, there are plays in the playbook. We saw them last year. I think they exist. I just don't know if they're going to call them, because I really don't know. I feel like. Why am I blanking on the head coach's name right now?
I think it's Romeo something.
No, Romeo Crennel's the coach of the Texans. Fuck. John Harbaugh is a good coach. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. He won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco as his quarterback.
Yeah, so my bad. I was actually thinking of Greg Roman. And Greg Roman...
He's excellent.
Yeah, but the whole thing is he's excellent when it comes to running the football. Like, he's not...
I think they developed a foolproof system when it comes to running the football that they have dominated the league with for the most part.
But I don't know how great he is when it comes to passing, and I think that's been one of Lamar's frustrations throughout this whole year, really. Well, and last year too.
I think it's a frustration of the entire passing offense, because you saw Marquise Brown complain about it on social media earlier this season. But he's got a touchdown in 7 straight games. So they're at least the passing offense has been way better.
But who were they going against though? Because it wasn't the end of their schedule really soft.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they still got it going. Like, let's see, passing yards offense.
Defenses.
400, 385, 432, 525. Or hold on, that was total. This is total yards of offense. But they ran for Their goal, much like you said, is to run the football, but that creates the play action, and I think they'll have a good opportunity. And this is the other thing. Yes, this was against some of the worst teams in the league, but the Tennessee Titans defense is not much better than some of these defenses. Like Giants defense or Titans defense. Who would you rather have?
I'd rather the Giants defense.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't say that about a couple of these teams. I think maybe I'd rather have Cleveland over the Titans right now, but that's a tougher one. Like,
I'd rather have Cleveland's defense over the Titans for sure.
Yeah, and they put up 40 points on them. So like, I think there's no reason.
I definitely think that Baltimore is going to score over 30 points. I have them winning the game. I just can see where they can have. I'd rather them have their plan to rush the football. Yeah. Consistently and not throw it as much. Like, I would not want them to have a throwing approach over a running approach, because that's going to lead to a horrible result for them.
But like you said, they have to start fast. So something's got to give on that. Running the football doesn't indicate starting fast.
They're electrifying when it comes to running.
I agree with you, but I think if it's a bulletin board material, like, listen, we're getting points first possession, I think they're going to open the playbook a little bit. Also, it'll catch them off guard. You know what I mean? Like, tendency breakers are important come playoff time. I don't think they're going to be fucking slinging all game, but I expect to see Marquise Brown on a fucking bomb on the first possession. I expect to see at least 1 or 2 attempts to get it to Marquise Brown on a bomb touchdown. And I expect obviously a lot of the running, but they will need to start fast just to develop confidence on the road. And I think they'll be able to do that. I really do. I love J.K. Dobbins, a guy who's come on hot at the end of the year. They're finally giving him at least 15 touches a game, which is big, and he's producing with it. And Gus Edwards, a guy who never gets the touches that he deserves, in my opinion. A guy who is excellent.
Well, there's just so much. They just split it so much. They have pretty much 3 or 4 running backs.
Yeah.
When you look at Lamar is pretty much the best running back. Yeah. So what? How do you see Tennessee winning this game?
I don't see Tennessee winning this game.
Oh, you're crazy. So all right. So I actually give them some respect. I'm saying how obviously, but I'm saying how do you how can you see Tennessee winning how can Tennessee win this game?
The only way they can win this game is they have to play better defense than they've been playing over the last 6 weeks. That's the only way they can win. And they have to get Derrick Henry the ball. If they don't get Derrick Henry the ball 30 times, I can't see them winning the game. Because they have to kill the clock. They have to. And they have to control that time of possession. Otherwise, you cannot give the ball to Lamar that often, in my opinion. You got to treat him like any other great quarterback.
So if they have a lot of in my opinion, if Titans can limit Lamar's possessions by running the ball similar to what you're saying, but also having more 3 and outs. If Lamar has multiple strings of 3 and outs,
right? I
think they'll be screwed because I think the Titans are a more efficient offense than Baltimore overall. Titans have a better balance in the pass and rushing.
Yeah.
And the only reason I think Baltimore is going to slightly win. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think this is going to be a very close game.
Yeah.
And Baltimore is going to edge it, and it's because of their defense. I don't think
Can I tell you about
definitely don't see a blowout like
they are one part. The Ravens are one part of my bet, and they got to win by 10.
I'm sorry.
And I think they'll be able to do it. I think they'll definitely be able to do it. I think they're going to shock people. This is the thing about
you should talk to me about that before.
No, because you would have talked me out of it, and I don't want to.
Yeah, I would have talked you out of that because that's
don't want to be talked
not
out of
happening.
It. No, because it could totally happen, and here's why. Every year during Wildcard weekend, there is at least one blowout that no one sees coming. Happens every year, and I think they're going to be 2 this year, and this game is going to be one of them. And 10 points is not really even a blowout, but I think they could win by 10. And the other shocking loss, I think the Buffalo Bills are losing to the Colts.
The Ravens is my the team that I fear the second most.
Yeah.
And as a Chiefs fan, and the next team will be Buffalo. Okay. I fear both of those teams mainly because of their defenses. And I feel like we have the superior quarterback and offense, but that those defenses are, I think, better than our defense. So those are the teams I'm most nervous about.
Didn't you guys beat the Bills this year?
Yep, we beat both of these teams, and we smoked the Ravens. So
yeah, well, I don't think that'll happen a second time around. But
okay.
I tried to talk about this at the start of the show, and you were like, "No, let's move on." So now, fuck you.
We gotta jump into the
now we're talking
ones
about
that matter, and then
Bills.
we can argue later.
Now we're gonna talk about the Bills Colts. So Bills Colts, right? That man is questionable going into the game. That man, Cole Beasley, is questionable going into this game. So far, they've yet to log full practices. We're recording on Thursday afternoon, and they have yet to record a full practice. So
was it COVID, or
it was not COVID related? Diggs had an oblique, and I think Beasley has an ankle. But check above my head. I'm sure I'll have.
I was thinking it was COVID. So that's not good at all. Mainly because the reason Josh Allen is this. Like, I don't care what anybody says. It's because of Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs opened that offense the fuck up.
That's what everybody says.
No, I know, but I mean, some people, there's Bills fans that swear by Josh Allen. I've seen them like attack people who don't think the Bills are that good.
Bills Mafia.
Yeah, Bills Mafia. So, and don't attack me because I fear you guys, kind of. So
don't put Dario through a table. That's all he's asking. Don't put him through a table.
I could try to and see what happens. We know. But if that's the truth. So when I put my my bracket in, I didn't know about that. So I would expect Colts to probably win this game if they don't have Stephon Diggs, and definitely if they don't have Diggs and Beasley, because that's not even fair for Josh Allen.
I think, healthy or not healthy, I think the Colts are winning this game. And
you're crazy.
I think it for the same reason I think the same way I think the Titans could beat the Ravens by controlling the clock and running the ball. That's how the Colts are going to control the time of possession in this game. I don't think you're going to see a lot of Josh Allen in this contest. I think he's going to be sitting on the bench watching his defense get chewed apart. The Bills are not...
The best part about their defense is their run defense. They have a really bad... They're not really bad, but if you had to choose which one you wanted to attack, I'd attack the run defense before the pass defense.
How's this for an interesting fun fact? Jonathan Taylor, the number 3 running back in the league in terms of rushing yards on the season. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's Derrick Henry, it's Dalvin Cook, and it's Jonathan Taylor. That is insane. I would not have thought that to start this year.
Did he have over 1,000 yards?
Fuck yeah, he did. Let's get the thing.
Because I know Derrick Henry at like 2,000. I think
he had 2,027 yards.
15, 16, something like that.
I'm pretty sure that puts him second or third. Jonathan Taylor, 1,169 yards. 69.
That's crazy.
Sorry, I turned into an infant for 30 seconds. And 11 touchdowns. 5 yards per carry, 77 yards a game. Only 1 fumble in the 15 games he played. For a rookie, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they control the clock with Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines and dink and dunk Phillip Rivers. And
that's what they better do.
They run a West Coast style offense, and I really think that they keep Josh Allen off the field. And I think this is going to be the big shocker coming out of Saturday for me, because they play Saturday.
So I'm talking from the perspective that they're gonna play, because you got to remember these are NFL players and they want it. This is the biggest moment of most of their career, both of their careers. I think Beasley, has he ever even played in the playoffs? I don't even know. Diggs has played in the playoffs.
I understand what you're saying.
And he's had a huge plays like Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna try to play in the game. So this is going under the assumption that they are going to be playing.
Sure.
I see it being a more defensive game. That I don't see them between both teams. I don't see them scoring more than 50 points combined.
Right.
And I look at it as Phillip Rivers is going to do Phillip Rivers things, like turn the ball over,
or just like have a heartbreaker type game.
Yeah, as he always does. So I think, and I see Josh Allen being the quarterback that we've seen throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So that's if they play. If they don't play, I expect Colts to win, because
how many pass attempts do you expect for Phillip Rivers to have? How many pass attempts do you expect Phillip Rivers to have, regardless of injury? So let's say everybody plays. You asked me this question on the last game. So
I like if they're thinking like you, I think that makes the game closer and more competitive.
Yeah.
I think if they let Phillip Rivers throw with Josh Allen, it's going to be a long night for the Colts. But if they do what you did say, I'd rather see Phillip Rivers at about 30 throws a game max.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I think he's not going to throw the ball more than 30 times. I'd be shocked if he threw it more than 30 times. I think Jonathan Taylor, this will be 25 attempts out of Jonathan Taylor. and
he'll
destroy.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll be happy as fuck if that happens because I don't got to face
what he's doing right now on the screen. He's gonna be doing a lot of this.
Yeah, but he also is doing that against a horrible defense.
And their defense is just as good as the Bills at stopping the run, so it's fine. They funnel everything to running backs, even in a passing situation. That's why a guy like Hines, they should be really worried about. Because out of the backfield, they like to let the backs, they play hard on the outside, and they like to let the backs catch passes on the underneath, and they stop them. It's a bend, don't break type thing.
Yeah. But I just feel like, why not, if you're the Bills, why not make Phillip Rivers throw the ball? Like, why? I would.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I would freaking stack 8 and tell them, do what you do. Yeah. I want to see you beat my guys in our secondary because their secondary is lit. So just stack 8.
Yeah.
And let's see if he could do something. Like that's what I would do. And I think that's the easier.
We'll see.
The thing about the Bills is their running game isn't that great. So like
I feel like their running game just hasn't been utilized. Maybe because it's not great. Maybe they're hiding a weakness. Maybe you're right. They don't get touches, you know?
Yeah, but it's because they don't trust Singletary, and I feel like Moss is like really their guy. Like
it's so crazy because last year I loved Devin Singletary. He was doing work, getting all kinds of production for them, and really helping them win a lot of football games last year. And now they have Zach Moss, and Zach Moss has done that in a couple of scenarios this season. And even when David Singletary had the full-time job, he didn't really have any super duper flash games that I can think of off the top of my head. But like, I don't know. It's two completely different philosophies going against each other, and the secondary in Indy is very good, and they've played excellent defense all around all season long. So this should be a tough test for Josh Allen and the Bills, but they're going to be at home. Rumor is they're going to have fans in Buffalo.
Only 6,700.
Okay. That's still more than they've had all year. And that Bills Mafia is going to be roaring. They haven't had a real playoff contender like this.
That's 9% of the stadium. It's not even 10. I don't know.
Dude, it's better than fucking 0. Like Aaron Rodgers, I listen to Aaron Rodgers' interview that he does every week with Pat McAfee. And one of the things that he talked about, and he brings up every week when they ask him, what makes it look like you're having so much fun out there, Aaron? And his thing is always the crowd and the lack of crowd noise. And the fact that he can hear everything going on the football field makes a huge difference to him. Even if the defense is talking to each other, he goes, oh, these guys are miscommunicating. I can take advantage of that. Little things like that you might not have heard with 50,000 people roaring. Like, that's that. So having any kind of fan impact for a playoff game in football is going to matter. And the environment will matter too. Because Indy is a dome team and Buffalo is obviously fucking not. So that you asked me last game how the Titans could win the game. That's how the Bills win the game. Is they fucking put up 40 points like they've been doing on everybody in the last month. Or
and not to mention, Phillip Rivers has played his whole career in either a dome team or in San Diego where it was warm as fuck.
Where it's just a dome, but outside.
So to be in that cold hits you. We know how that cold is. We lived in Oswego.
Fuck all that.
Buffalo is just as bad.
Fucking you still live up in that bullshit. I'm out on that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fucking get me to San Diego as soon as possible. Anybody listening, if you want to pay for me to live in San Diego, I would love it. Leave in the comments, by the way. Just leave all the banking information. I'll gladly take your money and go to San Diego because I fucking hate the cold. Fuck all that. But that's the downfall for the Colts if they are to slide in this game. But I think a banged up Diggs is not something to worry about in terms of like whether he's going to show up. He's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to play. Beasley's going to play. I think healthy. But the thing is, Indianapolis' defense is solid. Like they've just been solid. So I think healthy or not healthy, it's going to be a really tough matchup for Buffalo, and they have some fucking franchise demons to exert. Let us not forget that this is the Buffalo motherfucking Bills.
Yeah.
And until they get somewhere in the playoffs, they are cursed. So
I don't know.
How are you going to be a franchise that makes it to 4 straight Super Bowls and lose?
Who you trust more, Phillip Rivers, or Josh Allen? I trust Josh Allen more right now than Phillip Rivers.
But this is my thing. I think I trust Jonathan Taylor more than both of them right now to get the job done.
I don't know.
And that's the same thing with
and that's a rookie too. Like, you got to remember, he's a rookie too. Like,
no, I understand.
Like Josh Allen,
the way they've been using him at the end of this year has been eye-opening for me, because I started this year, especially from a fantasy perspective, going, I don't fucking see it. I don't see it, and I don't understand it. But
so you think this is going to be a blowout?
I think the Colts are going to win by a touchdown, at least. Yeah. Usually with playoff games, because of how they work, like, teams that have to come back always end up overthrowing, right? And so there's usually opportunities for high turnovers at the end of the games. And once the teams get the ball, they like to fucking solidify the win. You know what I mean? That happens more in playoff games than in any other situation. Like Todd Gurley. Remember when Todd Gurley fucked up and he didn't fall in the end zone? In the playoffs, you just run in for a touchdown because you need the points. You just get the points. Fucking that happens way more often in these type of games. For example, Buffalo. They sent Miami home last week. They put up 56 points in a game that didn't matter either way. So I think that's how it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot of not close scores all around the league. I think it'll be a nice day to bet on some spreads. I really do. I don't think there's going to be a lot of close games. It just usually doesn't. Usually, games like this aren't very close. They're usually a touchdown or more. Yeah. So
maybe. We'll see. That's going to be an interesting one. I don't like with Steph. If Steph Diggs was healthy, I would feel more confident about Buffalo. But I still feel pretty confident that Buffalo is going to win this game. So I hope they don't, though, because I'd love to beat the shit out of them instead.
So Buffalo's, let's see their odds. Their best odds out of anybody to win the championship. I really think they're going to get upset.
Yeah.
Browns versus Steelers. I never understand why they give away the division title in the regular season when they're just going to do wildcard games between 2 division opponents. This is really the division championship right here.
Yeah.
And the Browns' entire coaching staff has COVID. Because why wouldn't they? That is going to be absolutely devastating. Every time a coaching staff member has gone down for COVID reasons, it has been absolutely detrimental to that team for that week. Each and every time it's happened this season. And losing Kevin Stefanski, a guy who I've talked about on the fantasy show a bunch of times, has been great at play calling for this team.
Yeah.
And probably the biggest reason why they are where they're at.
He changed that whole offense. And that, like, it sucks too, because, like, I don't know, like, a lot of people don't really like Baker Mayfield, but I feel like he's actually, under his circumstances, like, he's done pretty decent as a QB.
Yeah.
He's really had, like, to figure out 4 systems in his, like, 3 years of playing.
Yeah.
And he's like, you gave him a pretty good head coach, and look at what he did. He brought them to the playoffs for the first time, and they could have locked up the number 1 seed if COVID wasn't an issue. You know, not the number 1 seed. Locked up the division and had a home game if COVID wasn't an issue, because the last 3, these last 3 weeks,
they had that horrible loss to the Jets where they didn't have any of their receivers.
Exactly. Like,
and this,
and they beat the Steelers, which was a game that they needed. I mean, but Steelers would have played all their guys if they knew that
it was like that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. But I I'm worried about a bunch of things. Oh, actually, you know what? One more thing I have to ask you as the Chiefs fan. What's it like watching Kareem Hunt do things for the Browns and get them in the playoffs when, you guys could just be a fucking dynasty if you had Kareem Hunt? Like, I don't understand it. You guys would you guys could have went undefeated. Kareem Hunt is that good. He's that much better than whoever you've gotten since. He's so fucking good. And if he didn't get in that fight on camera, he would still be a Chief. And
it's fucked up because the NFL bullied us into letting him go.
Andy Reid is the guy. He's the king of second chances. He is the guy who coached Michael Vick post prison. Yeah. So
they bullied us. They dead ass bullied.
And now the Browns are making the playoffs, and he's a huge reason for it. Because Nick Chubb was out half the season, and he had to carry the load. And I don't think they win a bunch of those games if not for Kareem Hunt. Baker Mayfield played well to start that season, end the season.
But Kareem Hunt definitely, it was like you didn't lose your starting running back because you had a starting running back.
What they do off of play action is so crucial to everything that they do.
Yeah.
And
it's
much like the Tennessee Titans. Very similar.
Yeah.
I want Kareem Hunt to be a Chief as much as you do.
Yeah, but whatever. All right, but I miss my boy. I root for you. This is the same way with the NBA. I don't know if you've noticed, but when we do our NBA things, I talk about former Lakers a lot because I rooted for you at some point. So and that's what I do with Kareem Hunt. That's why I picked him up in the freaking 3rd, 4th round. And he was wild for me.
I just think he's one of the best backs in the whole freaking league.
Yeah, we had him as a top 6 running back this year.
But I think, let's see. The one question I wanted to ask you, and I need the Steelers statistics too. Which defense are we getting? Are we getting the defense that shuts people down, creates turnovers, allows almost...
Steelers or the Browns?
This is Steelers. Which Steelers defense are we going to get? Or are we going to get this team? The one that gets absolutely lit up for over 350 yards and doesn't create any kind of turnovers. Which Steelers defense do you think is going to arrive in this game? Because they looked bad to finish out that year.
Which game?
For the Browns game. The Steelers, the game we're talking about.
All of their guys.
Right, but they're playing in the playoffs. That's what we're talking about.
No, but what I'm saying is you're not comparing apples to apples when you say...
They haven't played well in comparison to the beginning of the year where they were getting... Look at this. Look at this streak of turnovers that they had. They're getting turnovers every single week. And then they lost to the Bengals, right? 150 yards rushing, right? This game, over 300 total yards against the Colts. And that game, they had to storm back in that game to win it, right? The offense.
Yeah.
And
they had a lot of injuries throughout this.
I'm not even counting. I won't even count the last week. But I'm agreeing with you that they had injuries. But I'm asking you, do you think that they?
I think this is the game that's gonna unfortunately be a blowout. I think the Steelers are gonna beat them by more than two touchdowns.
Is that because of the coaching news? Or would you have thought that regardless?
Yeah, it's strict. I thought this game will be a closer game, probably within a touchdown. If the coach, if everything was fine for the Browns, but the Browns you can't put a team through all of that in the last couple of weeks and expect them to just be amazing. The only reason I could see me looking stupid right now is because all of these guys. Baker Mayfield, all of these guys, and their defense is just fuck this. Everyone's counting us out. We're gonna wild out. And I see those guys being these are
nobody believes in us.
Exactly. And these guys are those kind of guys that can do that. And I'm just one of the people that doesn't believe right now. You gave Big Ben pretty much 2 weeks of rest. before the game started, and I think that's one of his Achilles heels. Usually towards the end of the game, end of the season, his arm's a little. He has the wobbly arm, can't really throw deep balls and shit. Like I think he's gonna be fine for the game, and I think the defense just looks at it as, yeah, you guys are our little brothers. So
yeah, I mean, I just think it's so hard to have people who haven't called plays all year all of a sudden start calling plays.
Exactly.
The only just to play devil's advocate, the only way that benefits you is obviously it's completely different tendencies than Kevin Stefanski, the guy who's been fucking calling it all year, so it makes it a little bit harder to game plan for it, imagine. But the Steelers at home are great. Ben Roethlisberger at home historically has been awesome. As long as that's another thing. Which Steelers team are we getting? That's really what this is going to come down to. Whether they have their coaching staff or not. Because the Steelers have had several games this year where they have just straight up not shown up. And they played down to their competition.
Yeah, I just can't imagine they're going to do that in a playoff game.
But think about this. Think about this mentality. Dude, they don't have anybody. This should be a layup. You could see it. I could see it.
But you see, I would look at that more so if they stood undefeated. If they were undefeated, I think that would be more of an issue. But since they saw what happens when they let their guard down, i.e. Washington, i.e. Cincinnati, like...
The Washington one should have been really bad because they were undefeated. And the first sign of this was Dallas, that when they played the Cowboys. And the Cowboys were dominating them. And they had to do the same thing. They had to wake up in the fourth quarter, and they pulled that out of their ass. But that was the first real sign of this.
Them. But
and then in other games, like this one against the Browns in Week 6, they come out and they're up 17-0 to start the game, and they're destroying. And I just don't know which Steelers team we're going to get. Are we going to get the Ben Roethlisberger that's super accurate throwing down the field? Or are we going to get the Ben Roethlisberger that when he throws it downfield, it's like waiting in the arms of a defender? Like,
yeah.
Which one are we going to get? I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
I'm betting on the good Ben Roethlisberger for this game. But I could totally see this being a huge upset. But right now, I like, this is one that I feel more. I feel like when it and this is funny because it probably shouldn't feel this way. I feel more confident about the Browns possibly upsetting than I do about the Colts upsetting Buffalo personally. And it's just because of the personnel that Cleveland has, the kind of mindset those guys get into, and the type of character they have. So I could totally see that happening, but we'll see.
You want to see the tease? Let me show you the full tease that I made. So here's my tease. It's a reverse football -6 points tease. So over here, you can see that the Colts are +6.5 underdogs. The Ravens are -3.5 favorites. And the Browns are +6 underdogs. Right? So with the reverse football tease, I just it adds 6 points to the odds. Right?
Oh, okay.
So I was going to pick the Colts and the Browns to win outright anyways. So it changed that. And now the Ravens just got to win by 10. And this is I got ridiculous odds for this. Cleveland just have to win. Cleveland just has to win outright because the 0 means I switched it from +6 to 0, so they just have to win.
But you have Pittsburgh winning the game.
Yes, I have Pittsburgh winning the game in my bracket. But for the tease, this is the tease because it was nice. Okay. I thought because I do think because you were bringing up how you think the Steelers might get upset.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd show you the final
just surprised,
piece of the puzzle.
Usually I don't bet on something that I don't truly believe.
The odds were mwah, and I could see the narrative for that. You know what I mean? And I'm always in the, I will always on this show tell you what I think honestly. But if I see a narrative, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I just thought, I think those are the scores that I see people turning out the way most people don't. Like, I don't think people, I think people think the Titans are going to win that game. So, I just think this, I just thought it would be fun to do. And,
I
don't know. Those are definitely the upsets that I have.